truth, and life. Here is the Brother Leon Show. You better recognize.
What's going on, my listeners? This is your boy, Brother Leon, and you are tuning into another episode of the Brother Leon Show. We're going to go in here today, man, because we're going to talk about jealousy, wrath, and rage. The one thing that I want you guys to understand and know is that we are living in a time where people can just fly off. People internalize, people lose it. But the one thing that I want you guys to understand and know is that everybody has a breaking point. And so what we're starting to see today is the reason why we have to keep an emphasis on mental health, but also we need to protect our black women and our black babies. Because I don't know if you have been listening to the news. There was a brother who allegedly killed a woman who had 6 kids. I mean, violently killed her. Stabbed her, even to the point where the knife was left in this woman's skull. And to leave a knife inside of a skull, that is so much force behind it. And then now in the news, another man, murder-suicide. He puts up a video before he goes through with the act. And so the one thing that I want you guys to understand and know is that every person has a breaking point. Am I trying to justify these men? No, I'm not. What I'm trying to put an emphasis on is that we need help. The black community needs help, especially in the area of mental health. We have had so many things. What happens in my house stays in my house. And as far as I'm concerned, this generation, this is just my opinion. This generation has a lot to deal with, but this generation is also fragile. They're very vocal, but they're also very fragile. And they have a lot to deal with. More so than my generation. I was born in the 70s. I consider myself a 90s baby because the 90s was a good year during that time. Good years. We had Tupac, we had Biggie, we had all of that. And that's why I claim the 90s. But also we didn't have what this generation has and is dealing with. Because the one thing that I've seen is that when it comes to anger, a lot of people say, "Ooh, you got anger issues, this and that." And I remember one time, man, I was going through some stuff and people were saying, "Ooh, you got anger issues and this and that." But when I actually sat down with a counselor, and I'm so glad that God had connected me with this man. He straight up told me, he said, "Man, you have to learn how to control anger. Anger will always be a part of you. You can't pray it away. You can't try to talk it away either." There is no psychiatry or psychology that can extract the human emotion of anger. You have to learn how to deal with it. You have to learn how to control it and not allow it to be internalized, to stress you out, to turn into rage, to turn into wrath. And so these are things that we have to deal with. Jealousy is a part of insecurity. Fear of rejection, fear of loss. And so these are the things that we as people have dealt with. I'm not going to lie, man. I dealt with it. I dealt with insecurities. Wondering whether or not, my girlfriend at the time was cheating on me. And so the crazy part is that you have to begin to rein in insecurity, or else insecurity will have you all messed up. And that's the God knows truth. So I just want to play this clip.
Nigga, look, break my heart. Look me in my eyes and break my heart, nigga. But you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. You want to go lay up with niggas and get fucked and nigga, whatever the case. You're slick, my nigga. You lied, my nigga. You're a habitual cheater, my nigga. And you have given yourself to men. You have given me STD behind this shit. Like, I'm not paranoid, cuz. You hear me? You fucked other niggas recklessly. I forgave you for it. You won't even come home, baby. You won't even come home like I'm a sucker. So watch this, Scala. Watch this. Yeah. And carry this torch, baby. And no, I gave you a choice, and you chose this. Oh, you're so scared, right? Okay.
OCPD flooding the streets with officers, sending the helicopter for a bird's eye view, and we're in the process of getting an Amber Alert out. But that call came in just minutes too late.
The vehicle the man was driving pulled up into a neighborhood and parked at 411. This would have been about 3 minutes before police were notified. Sadly, he executed his own children and then turned the gun on himself.
The oldest child, just 6 years old.
The officers and detectives, they just look more heartbroken than anything.
It's even worse to open the door and actually bear witness to that scene.
What can you say? In all honesty, what can we say? Because the one thing that I want you guys to understand and know is this. This is the reason why we have to begin to talk. This is the reason why we got to keep our women protected. We got to begin to keep our children protected. And we got to have this discussion about mental health, and especially centered around men's mental health, so that we as black men need to be able to support other black men and say, yo, bro, we got you. This might be a fucked up situation, but it don't have to go to the extreme. But sometimes, man, we just lose it. I'm gonna tell you, man, what will take you years to build, wrath and rage, can take it away in minutes, in seconds. And if you are the type of person that can get above and beyond and try to amend and turn your life around, it's going to take you even double the time to get past the labels. It takes you double the time to get past the labels of abuser. It takes you double the time to get past the label of woman beater. It takes double the time to get past the label of convict, molester, rapist. Because the one thing that I want you to know, man, once these labels get put on you, you have to do everything in your power to turn your life around, to get far from it as fast as you can. And even then, sometimes it's not enough. A year is not enough from the offense. 2 years is not enough from the offense. It takes years. And I'm a witness to that, man. Yo, I got caught up in some bullshit when I was married. And the one thing that I will say is that it took me a long time to get past it. I allowed my anger to get the best of me. And it could have went down crazy, but man, I thank God. I thank God that it didn't go that way. Because if it would have went that way, I'd be sitting in jail and you wouldn't be listening to my voice. And so the one thing that I learned is that nothing is worth your freedom. Nothing is worth your freedom. Everything can be replaced. Material items can be replaced. Cars, houses, clothes, collectibles, they can be replaced. But when it comes to human lives, they cannot be replaced. When it comes to your freedom, it cannot be replaced. So I want to give you some scripture, and I'm not going to be long, man. It just hurts my heart to see some of these things and to hear what is happening in our community. Proverbs chapter 6, for jealousy is the rage of a man. Therefore, he will not spare in the day of vengeance. And so a lot of times, man, you got to realize that even if you are married, even if you are in a committed relationship, you do not control and you do not own another woman's body. And the crazy part is that a lot of times, man, people can set us off, but at the end of the day, it's not worth it. It's not worth your life. It's not worth taking a life. And this is the reason why I understand why the narrative is that black men are dangerous, that black men are killing black women. And all these scenarios and stories do is feed into that narrative. And that narrative at times is put on every black man. And even though every black man isn't like that, there's a select few that have fallen into that are in jail because of that can't see their kids because of that have protection from abuse orders because of that, restraining orders because of that. And I totally get it, because our women need to be protected. And sometimes the greatest detriment is guys who have mental instability. And so I'm telling you, man, we got to begin to vet better. It's not just men, it's women too. Women that can kill. Of course, you heard about the TikTok model or the social media model that killed a black man, that stabbed him. But at the end of the day, man, we need help. And so I'm telling you, black man, black woman, embrace the therapist. Embrace mental health. Because this is what allows us to vent. Our hearts have to vent. Our minds have to vent. When you go through a breakup, your heart needs to vent. And time does not heal all wounds. So I want you to understand and know, man, jealousy can turn into a monster. They call it the green-eyed monster. I remember that movie, man, The 5 Heartbeats. Every night I gotta prove my love. Why did that man feel like he had to fight for that woman every night and fight another dude? My father once told me, don't get mad at a man for being a man. Get mad at the woman that let him in. And so what I want to tell you is that if you forever got to feel like that you got to stop the other dudes or the other men, the other women from messing with your boo or with your spouse, something wrong with that picture. Because you shouldn't be the one fighting the other man, or the woman that you're with should not be letting the man in, and vice versa. The man should not be letting the woman in. And so, like I told you, when you break the hedge, the serpent bites. So yes, of course, the other woman is going to come in when the man allows it. The other man is going to come in when the woman allows it. So when you allow it, they come in. And if they're allowing them to come in, then you don't need to be in that. I don't care what the excuse is. I don't care if it just happened. And even though people say, oh, it just happened. No, it happened because you had a conversation. It's not like you just tripped on a rock and your dick just fell into some pussy. Or your mouth just fell on the dick. You know, it's not like that. It's not like you just tripped on a rock and just all of a sudden just fell on this man's dick and started sucking. And then the crazy part is you didn't even stop. Same thing with the men. You fell into some pussy and didn't even stop. You came. You ejaculated all in it and now got a baby. And then have the audacity to say, I didn't mean for this to happen. What the fuck do you think was going to happen? Jealousy is the rage of a man. Same thing with a woman. That's the reason why some of you motherfuckers out here got 3 flat tires and sugar in the tank. Because you couldn't be honest. That's why some of these women are fucking your best friend, or fucking your brother, or fucking your father. Because they want to hurt you in the worst way possible. Because jealousy is the rage of man. The wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. There's no righteousness that's going to come out of wrath, especially if you are a man. The Bible says that vengeance is mine, I will repay. And if you have to feel like that you have to do detective work, going through the phone, coming up to the job, getting your girl to drive you by the house, something wrong with that picture. You need to stop. You need to get out that relationship. Especially if you feel like that you gotta do detective work. Because do you know how mind consuming and emotional draining that is? Loving a person but not trusting them. Loving a person but seeing whether or not they got pictures in their phone or numbers or texts. And then you following them. Or you waiting for them in their house to see who they come home with. That is torture. Man, been there, done that. I will never do it again. And I'm bold enough to tell you some of my stories. I had a woman, man, ex-girlfriend. We broke up. She moved to Florida. I had gotten engaged. And then the crazy thing about it is that when she found out, she came up for a visit. Came to my job. And at the time, I wasn't even at my job. But she was like, come the fuck outside. Come the fuck outside. And I'm like, my work colleagues are there. I wasn't even at work. And they're talking about, you can eat the shit out my ass. I wasn't even at work. But she had gotten angry because she found out that I was engaged. I moved on and then got engaged. And then her words were, I was with you for the 3 fucking years and you gonna wipe her up? But the crazy part is we broke up and she moved to Florida. Moved to Florida. It wasn't like she moved to Virginia, moved to Philly, moved to New York, even moved to DC. But Florida. But the crazy thing in all of that, man, I take responsibility for the part that I played in all of that. But that was just the jealousy coming out. And I totally get it. You invest yourself emotionally, you invest yourself financially and sexually into relationships that didn't give you the outcome that you wanted. I totally get it. But the one thing that I would say, man, it's not worth it. It's not worth looking like a fool in front of people. You know, because my job could have very well had that woman arrested. I probably could have got fired behind it. But thank God it didn't go down that way. I ain't gonna lie. When somebody shows up to your job with some bullshit, oh, it's on. So the one thing that I want you guys, man, to know, please, men, black men in particular, embrace mental health. Embrace talking with a psychologist. We gotta stop internalizing things. Be vocal, man. What you want, what you don't want, what you ain't going to settle for. We got to be like that. And not be afraid of somebody saying that we're speaking from hurt or pain. A lot of times, yeah, I might be speaking from that. And it might sound like that. But I'm being vocal enough to say, this is a line that you will not cross with me. And so, you know, I'm even learning that right now. But I think at the end of the day, you just can't assume that people will treat you the way that you want to be treated and love the way that you want to be loved. And some of us as men and even women, we got to stop trying to save folks. Sometimes folks have to save themselves and do the work themselves. That's the God knows truth. So I want you guys to be blessed. You're not Superman, Superwoman. You're not Jesus. Some people need to save themselves. In saving yourself, you're talking to a therapist. In saving yourself, you're walking away from negative relationships. In saving yourself, you are walking away to preserve your life. Because you know that if you stay there, you know what type of shit's gonna go down. And some of you're gonna have to cry because you feel like killing that motherfucker. Some of y'all gonna have to cry and leave because you feel like, yo, if I don't, I'm gonna be in jail. Been there, done that. It ain't worth it. So I'm telling you, man, leave. Even if you have to cry, even if you look like a fucking punk, leave. Leave. Because if you leave, you will be free. If you leave, you can walk into healing. If you leave, you're leaving the bullshit behind. And when you do leave, don't come back. God didn't create you, man, to be a doormat. God did not create you, woman, to be a punching bag. So don't allow it. Don't be that. Walk the fuck away. And I mean that. Because there's too many of us trying to save something that don't want to be saved. And only God can do the saving. You can't heal her. Your dick ain't big enough to heal her traumatic issues. Especially if she's already cheating on you and you know you giving her good stuff. You giving her good dick. You showing up as a man. You coming out your pockets. You taking care of the next man's kids if she has kids by multiple men. I'm telling you guys, walk away. I'm telling you ladies, don't get involved with these dudes. Your pussy might be good, but it can't take and heal a man of traumatic issues and drama from his childhood. You can't fuck a man into faithfulness. You can't fuck a man out of domestic violence. You can't fuck a man out of verbal abuse. You gotta learn how to walk away because there's no pussy out here that is so good, that is so golden, that is so wet, that squirts all over the place and clamps down when a man gets into it, that's gonna make that man not be narcissistic. Trust and believe. I don't care if you go to church, speak in tongues, and can ride a pole like Mississippi or Mercedes from P Valley. Please. You ain't that good. Because external cannot heal internal issues. Only the eternal God can. And then you still got to get therapy. So don't think that you can love them through it. You can love them, but they still got to do the work. So I want you guys to be blessed, man. Whew, this is rough. But it needs to be said. I love you guys. Peace.
Walk in the truth that makes you free every day. Follow Brother Leon on all social media outlets.